We just heard that alien life is possible on Venus. We continue our coverage of World Space Week with Jim Hoffman, president of Lowcountry Stargazers. And Jim, my first question to you is, I notice over your right shoulder you've got an exercise bike, over your left shoulder you've got a telescope. Do you exercise and look at space at the same time?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Exercising isn't all I can do at one time.
Okay. But you've got a pretty handsome telescope back there. How far can you see with that thing? Can you tell us what model it is?
It's a little Meade 50 millimeter scope, predominantly for little kids, for kids to look at. So if we were doing public events, we'd take that out and just let little kids look through it. There's nothing they can do to hurt it. And they might see the moon, they might see the planets. But that's what that is predominantly for. And then members of the club would have potentially larger telescopes or binoculars, or just like to look up at the constellations and the stars.
Well, and I wore my constellation sweater just for today because it is World Space Week, and it's an exciting time for people who are interested in astronomy. Can you remind people what Stargazers is all about?
Yeah, we're the local Charleston Astronomy Club. The intent is to bring people together in order to discuss astronomy, go out and look at the stars, look at the sky through telescopes or whatever any member wants to do. We have no requirements other than joining and paying our $20 individual fee or $30 per year for a family fee, or $10 for a student. And that is a wide range of students. We don't care if you're in college, if you're working on a doctorate somewhere, or if you're in middle school. That would be $10 for a membership. And
you're also a member of the NASA Night Sky Network. What is this network?
That's a much more professional, NASA-sponsored and run capability for seeing professional astronomers will do presentations. You can get to a lot of beautiful pictures, Hubble pictures or other pictures from their spacecrafts. So it's a much more technical, much more professional organization, but it encourages public outreach. It encourages the local clubs, which are all over the country.
Now, I want to hear how you became interested in stargazing. What is it about space and planets and stars and constellations that excites you?
Well, I've always had an interest in science and a career in the Navy. And afterwards, I retired here in Charleston and went to one of the Lowcountry Stargazers events. They used to have them at Caw, the county park. And I got hooked there. So I bought a telescope right after that. And that was probably 12 or 13 years ago. And I've just been involved with it since.
Have you ever made any discoveries that have yet to be found by maybe some of the NASA scientists?
No. That's a little beyond my capabilities. I just love to get out.
Never say never. Well, now that we're into a new season, we've also noticed the sun is changing and just the world around us is shifting. So how are you celebrating World Space Week, and what are some of the things that you want to tell your fellow stargazers to look out for when they look up at the night sky?
Right, the club, because of the pandemic, it's been a little hard to operate. We do meet by Zoom once a month as a club meeting, and in fact, public can join us that route. But we didn't do anything special for the World Space Week. Individual members have gotten out and imaged things like the sun, the planets, and various stars and objects up there in the sky. Our weather here in Charleston, as you are well aware, has been pretty cloudy.
Yes.
So even that's been a little bit difficult to do. But the club itself would recommend, if you get out and we have some clear evenings, the planets are actually pretty visible. Mars is starting to rise right after sunset, and it's going to be pretty bright for several weeks. It'll gradually get higher in the sky at sunset also, and you'll be able to, with naked eye, be able to tell the color. With binoculars or a telescope, Mars will be very, very nice. And then Jupiter and Saturn to the south are up after sunset, and you can't miss them. They're very, very bright.
Can any of these things be seen with the naked eye, or do you have to have a telescope?
They can be seen with the naked eye. You won't be able to tell much detail with the naked eye, so binoculars or even a small telescope will make Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn just wonderful objects to look at. You might be able to see Jupiter's 4 Galilean moons with binoculars or a small telescope.
Oh, goodness. So really any novice can just grab a pair of binoculars and look up at the night sky. And there's also various apps and things like that for anyone who's curious. But I want to thank you so much for sharing with us your love of space and what we should look out for the next time we go outside at night.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Enjoyed
Thank
it.
you. We're back after this.